rest assured there are no hard feelings from me to you, Ace. What is it? What is it? It's a silk muffler.
Well, I can see that, but what's it for?
Now, what kind of a fly boy are you? I mean, all the hotshots wear silk mufflers. It's like jump boots to a paratrooper or a briefcase to one of those Madison Avenue geniuses. Gives you confidence, status.
How's my status now?
Quo, man, quo.
Sile.
Yes, sir.
I don't suppose there's anything I can say might persuade you to turn around, walk away while you can. Forget this?
No, sir. I just don't think you're a jinx. Of course, I'm a guy that walks under ladders. It's quicker that way. And black cats, I cross in front of their paths. I guess I just don't believe in jinxes.
Well, that's a brave and foolish and too oft-spoken statement. Anyway, there it is. As soon as your friend's settled in, would you pull away the chocks and stand away, please? No radio, no intercom, just hand signals. That's the ticket. And this first morning, we'll just stooge you about a bit. Bring you out a little. Give you the feel of the ship.
Nothing to worry about, Mrs. Windus. He acts like a bright kid. He'll be okay. And we sure could use an extra pilot.
Who's worried? Mr. Windus himself taught that boy to fly.
Well, yeah, Mrs. Windus, I forgot you told me that.
hose and some soap and water, Murdoch.
Right.
Now I know why the flyboys wear these things. So they can throttle their buddies who have no sympathy for upside-down, inside-out stomachs.
Come on, walk around. It'll do you good.
Thought you'd be in town by now.
Oh, I guess I'm just putting it off till the last minute.
Must think positively, right?
Isn't it they may say no? It's the smiling faces and the pleasant manner and the condescension. I think that's almost as bad as not getting a loan. But you're right. Negative thinking. How's the boy?
Game with a new stomach. He has good hands, steady control. Good luck, Dora.
Dora. Oh, Dora, let's stop this nonsense.
I told you, Mr. Russell, I'm not interested.
Well, this is a dusting company, isn't it? I've got a fat contract for you, Dora. Just as fat as them miserable thrips sitting out in my field, grinding their teeth away on my profits. There's work to be done, Dora. Done right now. And a lot of money in it for you.
There are plenty of other outfits flying crops in this valley, Mr. Russell.
Well, they won't touch sulfur. They don't want no part of it.
Then how can you ask me? How can you possibly ask me?
Well, now I'll just tell you, Dora. Because other people can afford not to fly sulfur. You can't. Not this year, anyway. Now, look, Dora. I drove out here to make a deal. And I'm going to make a deal. Sulfur does the job, see, like nothing else can. And I got a fortune in crops. Needs a sulfur dusting. Needs it now, today, tomorrow, this week. This contract of mine, Dora, this'll put you back even. You won't have to hem and haw and do your pardon me's and how do you do's with a bank. Well, as far as worrying about another fire goes, well, just make sure your planes are grounded proper. Just 'cause Jack got a tough break flying sulfur, you got a blind spot.
You want this job done? Ask my husband.
Well, I can't hardly do that, Dora. Now, can I?
Why not? Say it. He's not dead. He got out. He managed to get out. He's alive. Somewhere he's alive, waiting, healing. Because he doesn't want me to see him all burned. He'll come back. Any day now, he'll come back. Side slipping right in over that old hangar. Right into the mouth of that old windsock. Setting it down like a mosquito.
Well, you go ahead, Dora.
Don't you be mannerly with me, Tom Russell. And don't you feel sorry for me. I'm no widow to be pitied.
You go ahead. You go drive into town. Have yourself a nice hot lunch. I'll call you up this afternoon. Since you've been paid, Skeet?
That's about as much none of your business, Mr. Russell, as anything I can think of.
Well, what happened to Jack? Well, he just got a tough break, that's all. Could happen to anyone.
No, Mr. Russell. Not to anyone. Just to a duster pilot. A duster flying 4 feet off the ground, lugging a ton of sulfur. That's the only one it could happen to. but it won't happen here again.
I remember the first cup of tea I was served while the ground crews were refueling our spits. Just came back from my first scramble. A blitzy morning, white mist everywhere covering the tarmac. I was grateful for that. It hid my shaking knees. And this one waif came out of the mist with a wonderful little trolley with tea and sausage rolls. She was wearing overalls of a flowered print. I remember I was no longer afraid. Country which thinks enough of its pilots to outfit its ground crews with coveralls of a flowered print, that's a country worth dying for. That's a sure sign of senility, recalling past memories. It won't happen again. All right, Styles, tomorrow we start shooting takeoffs and landings.
Buzz.
Who is it?
Buzz.
Don't go away.
If you can't get rid of the family skeleton, you might as well make it dance. You mind the rattle of old bones?
Any point you throw, I'll cover.
I'll be in the car. You know, there was a time I used to envy the sleepers. All the normal people who turn in at night. Go around, switch off the lights, find refuge in the dark. Escape for a little while. But look at all they miss. No crowds, no noise. A chance to think. A chance to window shop without being pushed. You saw him today, didn't you?
Summers? He was at the airport.
What did he talk about? It was your idea, remember? Pep talks between the halves?
Okay. He talked about flying. What else?
Buzz, it's not working, is it?
Don't rush it. Don't rush it.
It'll never work. I guess I want to talk to you tonight because you're a link. Do you understand? You're a link with him.
I said it's okay.
It's not okay. That's the trouble with men and women. For somebody to win, somebody else has to lose.
Well, who wants to win them all?
Try to see that nothing happens to him. That he lives.
Why shouldn't he?
Because he thinks he's overdue. That he's already dead. Oh, I won't bother you anymore. Or knock on your door. It's selfish of me anyway.
Christina, I keep telling you. I don't mind. I can take it.
Not this. You're too young. You don't know what it means to be lost, hopelessly, and not care. He and I, we're bound together by years of suffering. Link by link, hand in hand like a chain. Rusty, maybe, but unbreakable.
Christina, that's not penny candy.
Keep your nose down, you speed up. That's the doctrine for this ship. Can you remember all that?
I'd better.
Mr. Summers? I want to make a speech. Personal speech, me to you.
Oh.
It's about Christina. The trouble is, I don't know what to say or whether there's anything to be said.
Well, obviously there must be.
Don't you understand that you've got her under glass? Stopped up, suffocating? How does she bust away from you? And how does she stop singing all the sad songs in the book? How does she bust free from you, Mr. Summers?
You do have a lot to say on the subject, don't you?
Look, I'm not enjoying this. But let's get one thing straight. I'm not asking for myself. Sure, she knocks me out. Maybe I'm kidding myself like my buddy says. Maybe she's out of my league. But that doesn't stop me from fighting her battles. Battle, I mean, Mr. Summers. One battle, you.
Thank you. Thank you for caring. Switch on, start your engine.
Where is she? I asked you a question.
Well, Vicky, the answer is still no.
She didn't come home last night.
How would you know? You're never home yourself until sunrise. Slap this side, Vicky. Just slap this Christian boy on his other cheek.
You'd better show me more respect.
You know, there was a time when your daddy was around. If anybody said anything about you, I'd have turned his head counterclockwise twice. That's when you were worth respecting.
How do you know what I'm worth and what I'm not worth?
You won't make any points around here, Vicky. Not with me, not with Mr. Summers, not with any of the boys. No matter how hard you try.
Why not? Aren't I good enough? You talk about me. Where were you last night?
Summers around.
He's out shooting landings with Stiles.
Bring them in.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're not telling, huh?
I've been from one end of this valley to the other, calling on every rancher I know, trying to get us some contracts.
Oh, all night long.
I said to Mr. and Mrs. Dorsey, the other side of Scottsdale. Better get an early start to wrap up my circuit. You weren't worried, were you?
You could have been dead or something.
What are you doing here?
I want to go shopping. I have to go shopping, thanks to you.
Thanks to me. This is Dora Windus. Is Dr. Brewster in, please? Would you tell him I called? And would you tell him I'd appreciate it if he could get out here sometime today? I'd like a blood count on my swampers and pilots. We're expecting a phosphate job in the morning and a... Yes, Dora Windus. Thank you. All right, Vicky. We've got work to do. Not much, but we've got to get started. What's all this about shopping?
You almost ruined everything for me the other night with Todd. Making him think Well, I've been calling him, and he's taking me out tonight. I need a new dress so I can impress him. So if you'll just let me have a check.
No checks, Vicky.
But...
All out of checks, Vicky. All out of everything. The bank told me they can't renew my note. They can't extend any more credit. I told you I've been up and down this whole valley trying to get a contract. I managed to get one, just one, a small one. Enough to buy engine parts and fuel for this month, but it won't keep us going until the lettuce crop comes up.
Then you'll have to close this place.
Yes.
Well, the sooner the better. You should have closed it last year, when Daddy was killed. Oh, Mother dear. You think I'm the talk of the town? I'm nowhere compared to you. Everybody calls you that crazy Windus dame, pretending her husband's still alive. Oh, my father. My father is dead. His ashes are scattered across a bunch of stinking tomato plants. And that jinx, that Summers is still here. You know it's because of him Daddy's dead. Do you think I pretended to be interested in him for any other reason except making him talk?
Did he talk, Vicky?
He didn't have to. I found out about him. He's dark and evil. Like the shadow of death.
He's your father's friend, Vicky. His best friend.
When they come and padlock this place, when they make you get out, when you come home, when you admit that my father's dead, then I'll be your daughter. Not until.
You go look for your father, child, in every man you meet. I've quit trying to stop you. But you let me alone. You let me look for him my way. You let me wait for him right here in peace, where his life was good, where he loved his plains and his work and his clean Arizona sky.
Table for three tonight, Mr. Murdoch?
No, separate tables, Gene.
All by himself in another world.
But I'd like my table in this world, right? Let me have what I usually have.
All right.
Let him be antisocial. Who needs him? You're the one who knows how to take off.
Well, I thought he could have one drink with us. You know, it isn't every day I solo.
Who needs to solo?
All right. Let's drink to dual control.
Goodbye, no use leading with our chins. This is where our story ends. Never lovers, ever friends. Goodbye, let our hearts call it a day. But before you walk away, I sincerely want to say I wish you bluebirds in the spring to give your heart a song to sing, and then a kiss. But more than this, I wish you love. And in July, a lemonade to cool you in some leafy glade. I wish you health and more than wealth. I wish you love. My breaking heart, and I agree that you and I could never be. So with my best, my very best, I set you free. I wish you shelter from a storm, a cozy fire to keep you warm, but most of all, when snowflakes fall, I wish you love.
Purifies, you know. Flame. There was a time when they burned witches, but in our century, only pilots. I often wondered if there's any connection. Witches, broomsticks, pilots, airships. No matter. Sings like an angel, doesn't she?
Yeah, sad one.
Paradise Lost. Tell me about yourself, Murdoch.
Tell you what?
What kind of a fellow are you? Why? It's important.
Why, I never thought too much about it. To me, that's a rough question. Now, what would you say if I asked you?
Well, I can sum myself up quite precisely. I'm a gaunt fellow, full of the sounds of the past, hearing nothing of the present. I'm aware of time's despair, not despairing. I'm a lean, thoughtful fellow who gets about in the clouds to gain a temporary detachment. A fellow who wants to stop hurting, being hurt. Simple as that. What about you?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just a guy, moving around, still looking, still wondering, still deciding. About myself, that is, not about Christina. I know about her. About her, I can tell you.
You love her?
Well, I don't know her well, but...
Do you want to love her?
Look, all of a sudden, I don't want to talk about it, particularly with you.
And that's unfortunate because I'd like to help you.
What?
Answer me, do you want to love her?
Yes.
Well, then take her. You take her the way I did a long, long time ago. Curious, I sound like a father advising his son-in-law. Yes, I took her the way a woman dreams of being taken. Not clinically, romantically. On impulse. Before she has time to think or analyze, before she decides you're too considerate, too understanding, before she discovers that you're really in awe of her, already her slave. A woman has to be swept off her feet, Murdoch, literally taken out of herself. Her senses drowned. Has to be pursued, captured. This is her nature, this is her destiny. And the man who acts, not talks, is the man who rules her. I met Christina at an afternoon cocktail party in Mexico City. I found that she'd never been married, neither had I. I asked her to have dinner with me. She said she couldn't because she was singing that evening at an open-air theater. I went to the airport. I rented a helicopter. I flew to the theater and I landed on the stage directly in the middle of her song. I simply picked her up, put her in the helicopter, and flew off. I asked her to marry me. She did. Good night, Murdoch.
Why did you stop loving her?
Did I say I stopped?
I'm driving.
Where?
Get in. We're gonna be late.
Late for what? I ask you a question, boss. I told you, I'm not used to...
Don't touch your face! Keep forgetting this stuff is poisonous.
Well, you might forget, but your blood cells won't if you get any on your skin.
What's the matter? Don't you like the outfit? Very chic. All the swampers dressed to the teeth. Like you say, if you don't, no teeth. You're just busting to ask me, aren't you? So ask.
This isn't just another girl, is it? Somebody that comes and goes. Just the girl for Phoenix.
No, this isn't just the girl for Phoenix.
How does she feel about it?
We didn't talk about it.
What happens now? Cheer up. Look, it's a big thing. It should happen to me. But sooner or later, it was bound to happen the way we've been kicking around. One day you walk around a corner and bingo, there she is. Size 10, the look in her eye, and all the chemistry going. In one big flash, you see your future. You ought to celebrate. Buzz, how old is she?
What's a couple of years here or there?
Well, it isn't the number. It's what went into those years.
Well, you saw her. You can see she's an unhappy kid.
She wasn't always.
Yeah, that's right. She wasn't always. But you can't always be the first guy on the scene, Todd.
Well, we got $1,200 in the Denver account. Half of that is yours. Whatever we make here, we split 50-50. I'd fly a grapefruit crate from one end of this valley to the other 10 hours a day if it would help you get started. And if it would get Christina smiling again. Look, aren't we the guys that were looking for roots? What's the matter with Phoenix? Everything else here has roots. Tomatoes, lettuce, cabbages. This is the place. And if anything bugs you, well, you call me. I'll spray it down with Tep.
Yeah. Maybe this is the place.
What about Hanson? He's got 300 acres that haven't been dusted since last season.
Are you just going to stand there making happy talk and ignore Dr. Brewster's report?
That doctor's an alarmist.
No. That's one thing about a plasma test. It's the most impersonal, personal thing in the world. No matter how you argue it, your blood count is 48% of normal. I've got to keep you away from phosphates for 2 weeks. Ground you.
You know, Dora, you remind me of myself. Back in the days when I'd have to call in one of my flying officers because he'd been on too many sweeps. Johnny, I'd say, you got a twitch. I'm taking you off for a while. Now, you have your batman drive you to the South Downs, you get a bottle and a girl, forget the war. Now, why is it that all the Johnnies in the world, it's all the ones I ever knew, they stand there with a twitching eye, trembling hand, and they say, "I'm sorry, sir, I can't do that. That's an order, I'd insist. But, sir, I'd rather bite in the air than on the ground from a bloody bomb." I let too many stay. Too many, Dora. But then we couldn't afford any non-runners then. And you can't afford any now either.
All right. I'll ground you another way. I'm closing this operation. I'm shutting the field down.
You can't.
I've got to. As soon as Todd finishes this contract this morning, that's it.
How do you think Jack will feel about that? I promised him, Dora.
You've kept your promise. You've kept me going. Now, we've simply come to the end of the runway. We're not airborne.
You call Russell. Tell him I'm coming out to look his place over.
Why?
See if there are any new wires or standpipes since Jack flew the crop last year.
No. No.
You call him, Dora.
No.
All right. I'll tell him myself.
Skeets! Stop him! He's going to see Russell.
You check the ground wires in 113 and set the hopper for sulfur. Truck, will you give Skeets a hand?
Mr. Summers?
No words, Murdoch. We don't need any, you and I. Not now. You've changed, that's good. Grateful to you.
dead often enough. Are you happy? I didn't mean that.
Since he came, things were wrong. And I blamed him. But I didn't want him dead.
Well, you shouldn't blame yourself for what happened to him. Any more than you should blame him for what happened to your father.
Do you know what you just said about Daddy?
Dead. Like Summers. I couldn't cry for your father, Vicky. Because I couldn't live without him. And if I had cried for him, if I'd admitted I'd lost him, I'd have died too. And I couldn't do that. Not and raise you. Vicky, how can I ever undo all the harm I've done you?
What I've done, Mommy, I did, not you.
When I saw Summers fly away today, I knew. For the first time in all these months, I cried. I cried for him, and I cried for your father. And I cried for all the men who die in the air. I'm all done with crying. All done. I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to run this outfit. I'm going to build it up just like your father always dreamed it could be.
Let me help, Mommy.
Thank you, honey. Thank you.
Wasn't my fault.
Anybody say anything?
I didn't hear anything.
I don't even see nothing.
I brought a check. I'm a man who lives by my word. This is payment for the whole job, even though he only got 3/4 of the way. I was planning on handing this to Dora. You just tell her that I dropped it off.
Christina.
Which locker's his?
On the left.
Where are his flight boots? Now don't tell me they're burned, because I know better. How many times has he told me when you die like that, the boots always come off the feet. They're always left behind. I want his boots. What else was left?
least it's not creeping up behind him anymore. Not whispering in his ear.
Well, I'll drive you back to town. You're in no condition.
No, Buzz. I'm not going back to town. I wasn't even going to say goodbye. I thought maybe you'd hate me for that. Forget me.
Forget you?
I don't want to end up doing the same thing to you that he did to me. Bringing along a past that no future could ever overcome. No, Buzz. If I didn't leave you today, it would be next week, next month.
What are you going to do?
Oh, I don't know. Just wait.
For what?
Tomorrow? And tomorrow after that?
Christina? I love you.
Goodbye, Buzz.
I'll find you.
This has been a Screen Gems film presentation from Columbia Pictures. Herbert B. Leonard, executive producer.